Today we're going to talk about some really good news again for uranium, the Strategic Uranium Reserve, the first start of the 1 million pounds that the US government's going to buy. I'm going to talk about how that number can actually be a lot higher very soon. We'll look at these bills related to uranium, and I'll show you guys how you can help as well. We're going to talk about the restarts in Japan for the nuclear reactors. I'm going to show you the visual on that. There's an updated chart with everything. I'm going to talk about their fuel because I don't think anyone's really talked about the specific fuel, the uranium that they're going to actually be getting. Go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button below. Strategic Uranium Reserve, up to 1 million pounds for now. And this will range from 100 to 500,000 pounds. So this is the requirement, is to purchase up to an estimated 1 million pounds. The uranium shall be provided by a vendor that has produced uranium at a domestic uranium recovery facility at any time since the 1st of January of 2009. And then a domestic uranium recovery facility is defined as a licensed uranium mining, in-situ recovery, or mining facility in the United States. The vendor is not required to be currently producing uranium at any uranium recovery facility. All uranium provided shall be from inventory already in storage at the Honeywell Metropolis Works uranium conversion facility located in Metropolis, Illinois. The uranium shall not have been exchanged, swapped, or augmented with uranium imported from foreign countries and shall not have any peaceful use or end use restrictions. Starting to see, as we know, this is not that much uranium, but we are getting a start. The government's coming in and we saw spot uranium start to go up. But this number can be a lot more. So one of the ways that we can also get that number up, obviously, is to get this bill passed, HR 7938. Now there's two bills just like this that are the House bills. This is Domestic USA Act, or as I would like to call it down here, the Domestic Uranium Saves America Act. So what's great about this is it's not really changing anything. I've said this in my last video. It's already got 4 co-sponsors, but you can go here, congress.gov. You can search it up, HR 7938, and you can click contact your member, okay? And what that'll do is you can actually call them, email them, and you can tell them about this bill and how you support it, how obviously we're looking to go into a possible energy crisis if somehow Russia does not give us this enriched fuel in the future. So the US obviously gets 43% of the uranium from Russia and their allies. So this is very alarming. And this bill really could be passed pretty fast. It's already got 4 co-sponsors. The other one's got 3. And this, I think, could help this be a bigger idea, because when domestic sources, when they become a part of this, as you can see here, Biden's administration, DOE, to invest $3 billion to strengthen U.S. supply chain. Now, this is for critical minerals in the battery area. And then when something becomes a critical mineral, which is it's necessary for the manufacture of high-tech devices or national defense applications and green growth-related industries. A critical commodity is one that is important for the specialized applications, yet is at risk for a supply disruption. So the fact that they put this in there, that like oil and anything pretty much used as a fuel could not be a critical mineral, pulled uranium out of this. And this should be amended. And you can see that a lot of these critical minerals that we don't even rely 100% on, some of these, they're a part of that list. Car seats, luggage, and laptops for magnesium, yet 50% is net imported. Reliance, uranium definitely should be in here. So if you guys go there, check that out on congress.gov, HR 7938, you could really help this get passed. $4.3 billion that the Biden administration wants for uranium, that could somehow in the future get passed. And there could be a lot more uranium that they buy. You know, this strategic reserve, 1 million pounds is nothing really. So if you guys would do that, that would be great. Is the Japanese nuclear reactor restarts. This is an updated visual. This came out today and I tweeted this out. And of the 10 nuclear reactors at 6 power stations, they've been given the go to restart in Japan because of this energy crisis and heat wave. Now today, they stopped this critical energy use so people could start to use more items and things like that. They asked people to stop. Today, that was pulled back from the warning. So now it says so far 4 are up, was what they're reporting, out of the 10 reactors at the 6 power stations. And then in 2019, Uzbekistan, this is another thing people were asking, supplied 1 billion in uranium to Japan. Okay. So 1 billion in fuel. Because a lot of people have been asking me, they say, hey, is this going to be, immediately coming back to the market? Some could, but there's a couple things. Now, a lot of their fuel are in these assemblies, right? They recycle it. So Orano wins a contract for the transport of recycling of Japanese used fuel. This was just a few days ago. So this is actually 111 metric tons of material. A lot of their uranium they have in these fuel assemblies that needs to be recycled that they could actually use. So this is not all of it, but this is a good amount of for their restarts that, they'll have on hand. And then you've also had that billion dollars worth from Uzbekistan that they supplied. And then you also have a meeting not too long ago between Kazatomprom and Japan, and they met up to discuss the current issues and the development of they have their joint venture mines. So yes, these reactors are coming back, but it doesn't necessarily mean that there's going to be, a scramble on day one to get this fuel, because they do have that. So that is nice to see. That is nice to see that they're starting those back up. These reactors, what the real catalyst are the reactors coming, these brand new reactors coming from China, and they can get these reactors up. They've actually invested a lot of money. You can see here on this chart, 75 billion US. This was in 2020, 21 to 2025. That was in the altogether for everything. G7 members. And then you can start to see China's this dark one over here. This is just China. So in the future, this is a lot of money they're obviously putting into it. And then other emerging markets, a lot of money as well. So 75 billion. And then once 2026 to 2030 happens, it's 100, 105, 110 billion that's actually going to be spent on this. So these reactors they can get these reactors in China up pretty fast. So through the years, the time to get these up has really came down. And if you look at China, they can get some reactors up to 4 to 6 years here. The minimum is usually about 4 years. It shows Japan can even do it faster. Okay. So we're seeing the East, they're really going to be able to get these reactors up pretty fast. That's why we've seen so many out there. Off the chart that I just showed you all, I just tweeted this out. So China's 150 new reactors, 10 units breaking ground in 2021. That's what started. And the build time for these can, like I said, 4 to 6 years. There are 52 reactors currently under construction in the world with 54 gigawatts of capacity. Those Chinese reactors were 16.1 gigawatts. And the Koreans are 5.6. Turkey is about 4.4 gigawatts. India, 4.2. Russia has 3.8. United Kingdom is 3.3. And all others is 16.6. So this is a big demand. So this is really an Eastern play. I've heard people say that Jim Cramer somehow was talking about nuclear today or yesterday and said that, there's not going to be any new reactors coming online like anytime soon. So that makes a bear case. It's really not. It's an Eastern play. And obviously the West, we have a nuclear energy renaissance. And in the future, small modular reactors are probably going to be the norm. But we've got reactor life extensions. We got 93 reactors, and a lot of those are getting these long-term extensions, and there's government subsidy, tax breaks, and all these things for it. So that is very positive for the sector. So the price of uranium, as we're here, we'll just look at it, is actually going up today. That 1 million pound news somewhat got these buyers coming back in. So it's close to $51. And that bid is getting closer to the ask. So people are buying pounds. We're going to see that overfeeding start. And I think a lot of secondary supply is going to come out. And, we're going to see a lot more probably volume. You got the government now. You got processors. You've got traders. You've got SPUT, hopefully buying record volume. You've got the producers and utilities coming in possibly in the next few months for that fall cycle, that fall refueling cycle. So I think it's going to start to do really well. So with commodities, uranium is over that 10-year high now again, 10 to 11 years. It's close to that in the $50 range that we hit back in 2011. So it is nice to see that. We've also got gas back up. But if you look there, a lot of these big commodities that people trade, they're, down on the month. So a lot of people in the energy sector, they've done really well this year, but there is a lot of negativity in a sense towards some energy. But I want to show you all, there's a couple old charts, and this was Energy Fuels during the last uranium bull market. And you can see, now this stock didn't trade at $140. You can see how much it dropped multiple times. And, 50% drop is not out of the norm. And you could even see Cameco. This is during a uranium bull market. You see really big days sometimes that are up and then down. So I'm not really worried. The prices are going to go back up. And just looking back to the past, you can see that there was a lot of volatility. I've been talking about this, and I really want to show everyone. I made a little bit of an easier chart and put it exactly on the day where these lines are. So this is the uranium price. These are the futures price, which you can see every time that we've had a massive run up. And I've talked about this before. This is the spring fueling in 2020. This is spring in 2021. Boom, up. This is the reactor fueling for the fall. Okay. This was the fall of 2021. And then you got the spring of 2022, had a real big move. And then now, what will we be at in the fall? And this is when the reactors are down at the most, spring, fall. And, this is getting up. We're coming up to here. This is, getting close to 51. We're like literally coming up to right here. So if we get up where I'm thinking by $55 range, which is very healthy, by the fall, and we see all of this volume come back into the market. We see utilities, processors, producers, traders, enrichers, they all come into the market. We're going to see a big run up, very possible. And I think it is probable that we see a $70 hit. And I think once we start to see those prices, there's going to be a lot more eyes on uranium. And if the market is a lot farther down right now, as we go into the fall, if the overall market's down and we see that run up in uranium prices, uranium stocks should follow, and then the overall market will be talking about it. We've already seen them talk about it before this year, but I think once you see the overall market really capitulate, and most people are cash, and then you see this big boom, it's going to be really big for the entire market to say, man, this is a tiny sector. And that is when the sky is the limit. They say that there's a huge deposit of uranium found there in India. Now, the thing is, there's huge deposits everywhere. You heard of NextGen? So the Arrow deposit, that's a massive deposit. That could really fuel a lot of reactors if that comes up. Fission, all of these companies, they have a lot of uranium in the ground, but it does not mean that pounds in the ground with uranium is a lot harder to extract. Obviously get the permitting and to find this. Now, this is also just estimates. This is not 100% guaranteed, but that is a lot of uranium, 12 million tons estimate. But I believe they actually did find a similar amount like back in 2012. So we're talking a long time ago. And, this still has not came into the market. So not worried at all. I'm also not worried about the overall market selling off recently. I think that uranium has the big upside that we've been talking about for multiple years on this channel. And heck, we're back to $50, for the uranium price. And uranium stocks have not caught back up to the price. And in my opinion, because of a lot of the capitulation, a lot of the popularity for uranium started in September, October of last year, and possibly even March, April of this year. Those are the refueling cycles, and the prices went up. And we had some big catalysts, obviously, Sprott, we had the war, and a lot of people, possibly got in there. So there is a lot of negativity, and I don't want to spread negativity. I do this because I really do want to help people. I want to put this out there. I've always loved making videos, and I love stock research. I read old annual reports. I read books about the great uranium cartel. This was back in the 70s. So I really enjoy all this. I enjoy making these things for you all. And I really do appreciate the support. A lot of people liked the last video. And I'm going to continue to do more of these. And I'm working on that documentary. but I'm not capitulating. I'm not leaving the uranium trade. I think that there is plenty of upside. So once we hit a certain point in that uranium price and these long-term contracts start coming in, I think that the uranium stocks will probably recover very fast. We've seen 20% moves in a day off news that wasn't even approved. The Biden 4.3 billion, it's not even approved yet. Once it gets approved, that same volume could come back. And I mean, these stocks can gap up. We see regular stocks in the overall market. We've seen 100% moves, in record volume. The same thing can happen in uranium. I'm not saying that it's going to happen immediately, but that is why I do have some positions right now. I think these deals right now are very good, but I'm not worried. I'm not leaving you guys. Hit that like and subscribe button below. Thanks for all the support, and Semper Paratus.